You are live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm live. Hey, my name is Mark Anderson, and I serve as President and CEO of the National Benevolent Association. I am grateful to be with you today, and even more thankful for your interest in this Ask Me Anything, Ask Mark Anything virtual session. I'm a little scared about this. But my hope is that we can connect, hear some stories and reflections, and hear directly from some of the voices that make up our NBA community. So I want to thank you for joining us for this live event. What could go wrong? Today is the start of Giving Week for NBA, which we define as a focused and energizing week of generosity and engagement. All throughout this week, we are inviting MBA friends to make a gift in support of our mission and empowering health and social service leaders, organizations, and ministries to do justice and transform communities. This year's theme for Giving Week is Innovation in Action, exploring how MBA continues adapting, learning, and responding to the needs of communities while staying rooted in our mission and values. Today's conversation is informal and participatory. We're going to be joined by guests who will bring that innovation to life across MBA ministry. So, Catherine and Jorge from our board of trustees that are going to be our first guests, Aaliyah and Dr. Williams from our MBA Black Women's Leadership Experience. And then we'll wrap it up with Darnell, our MBA Director of Social Entrepreneurship. So, questions in this live session can be submitted through the chat throughout the event. These are questions to me and maybe to our guest as well. We will weave live questions into the conversation whenever possible. If for some reason we don't get to a question today, we will do our best to follow up afterward to get an answer out there. So we hope you enjoy this hour of conversation and story. We hope you are inspired to make a gift of support. So let's get going with our first guests that are joining us. I see that we have Reverend Catherine Perry who has joined us. Hi, Catherine. So to lead us off, we are being joined by one MBA trustee right now, but I know, we have the other one that's going to be joining us as well. So let me tell you a little bit about these two individuals. Their governing work on the Board of Trustees is vital and meaningful. Reverend Catherine Perry joins us from Lexington, Kentucky, where she is a clinician, pastor, and healthcare leader. Catherine serves as the executive director for Bluegrass Care Navigators, a social service nonprofit providing physical, emotional, and spiritual care for seriously ill patients and their families. And then also joining us is Reverend Jorge Cotto from Coral Gables, Florida. Pastor Joey has served as lead pastor of Central Christian Church in Coral Gables for 28 years. Good golly, you've served there longer than I've served at MBA, Joey.
Wow.
His his ministry centers on supporting youth and young people, worship and music, and multicultural community outreach, including regular broadcasts in Spanish and bilingual radio in the Miami area. So, Catherine and Joey, I am glad you are able to join us for this live chat. Joey, I don't know if you're able to come off camera or get on camera. I do not get to see your beautiful face yet.
Here we go. Here we are.
There, yes, yes, yes. Okay, we're all three live.
Good, good.
Hey,
Thank you.
Catherine. So we are so grateful.
Mm.
So I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and then as I mentioned in the introduction, this is Ask Mark Anything. So if you want to throw me a softball question, as a trustee, I'll try and make up an answer. So, Catherine and Joey, as trustees, you see both the governance side and the ministry side of MBA's work. Where are you seeing the strongest signs that MBA is adapting faithfully to meet this moment?
Who wants to
Jorge?
go first? Okay. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Let me break the ice here. No, I'm very excited and happy with what I see as a trustee. Number one, MBA is listening. I mean, we have spent a lot of time listening to people, to congregations, to communities out there, and I really think that's a starting point. It motivates me as I see it. I see an organization, a ministry that is active, trying to discern what to do and in what way we should do it. And it also excites me that we are asking the right questions to people. Something that I love about MBA is that it's not afraid to ask difficult questions. You know, we are asking people, oh, we are asking also ourselves. I see this, I have seen this in the different meetings. Um, is what we're doing relevant in this new era? You know, what
Yes.
should we change? I mean, all of those difficult questions that sometimes organizations avoid. So those are a couple of strong signs that I see in MBA. I see a connection, governance, and the rest of the group and ministry staff all working together with unity on the same page. That's very, very important for us. And also the more than programs and events and activities, we are very clear, and I'm talking from a board of trustees perspective, that this is about people, how to respond to people's needs and to the communities out there. That's something that I think is very, very, very strong in the life of MBA. And that's just the beginning. I'm sorry. Remember that I'm a preacher, Mark. I'm a preacher. Sometimes I sound like preaching.
That's okay. Let's get Catherine in here, and then I'm going to
So-
let you preach some more.
No, I agree with you, Jorge. And the point of listening and asking good questions and asking the right questions is something that I've noticed as a Board of Trustees member. And then beyond that is the creativity of the MBA staff as well as the board of directors to think about how do we respond to the moments that we're in, really having those difficult conversations and being able to look forward. The other thing that I have witnessed as a Board of Trustees member is thinking beyond just the here and now, but planning for what might the future look like, and how do we respond not only to the moments that we're facing here and now, but how do we respond for what we anticipate might even come? How do we continue to bring that focus on justice and equity? That's the other piece that is so essential, is at every board meeting, every governance meeting, we are centered on those commitments to equity and to justice and to innovation, and to identifying how we can serve people best, how we can be that movement of the disciples of Christ, for the movement for wholeness in a fragmented world, in the health and social services sector.
Look at you, Catherine, tossing in our lingo there. Good for you. Hey, so MBA is rooted in compassion, healing, and justice. And something that you're aware of that we just went through affirming our new vision, mission, and our core values. And one of those core values is innovation. And oftentimes it sounds like a buzzword. But from your vantage point, what makes innovation feel faithful and grounded rather than simply new?
Yeah, let me go here. Once again, I'm going to answer this with 3 easy steps. Number 1, listening, and I already mentioned that we are listening. We are listening, and number 2, we are discerning, and I see innovation, discernment as part of an innovation process of what to do, what not to do, when to do it. There is a word that I use a lot, and Catherine just used it: creativity. How can we be more creativity? How can we continue to do our mission in a
Yes.
different way? In a different way. But 3, adaptability, and that's a common sense. This is a new world, and this is not a secret. New generation, new ways of living, even new generations with their new values, And the question is, what about us? And if there's something I love of MBA is that we are trying to be more creative, but with the same identity. We are clear of who we are, and we will continue to be a ministry of justice, transformation, restoration, compassion, love. I mean, we all know that.
Yes.
Methodologies will change. The way we approach conflicts and challenges will change. However, our mission, we know what our mission is, to be faithful to our calling, and we know that our calling is connected to justice, to love and transformation, not only of the individual, but communities. And that's something that I think is important for us to understand as part of this process of innovation, to remain faithful. In spite of the many changes in our community and in this world, we must remain faithful to our core
Faithful.
values, vision, and mission.
Yes, faithful. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Catherine, how about you?
Yeah, I think, when I think about innovation and think about where we're moving, to be innovative and to make change, you have to know where you've been. And I think back to the first board meeting that I was a part of was in St. Louis, where our headquarters are. And at our headquarters, there is this beautiful wall of history of the MBA organization and where we have come from and the themes and the threads that have got us to this place. Our ministry looks significantly different than it did
Yes.
over time, but the themes and the undergirding of our commitments to justice and equity have led NBA through all of these different innovations to get us to where we are today. And then, in every conversation and every creative opportunity that's given to us, we think about where we've come from, and where we're going to go in the future.
That is great. Thank you. Hey, so I do have a question that's in the chat, so I'm going to jump over and take that. So let's see, Mark, from your seat as president, what are the strengths that MBA brings to health and social services and leaders? And where are the places that MBA is innovating in the midst of our work? I'm making this up on the fly. But I think what we're doing is MBA really has, as you all have said, that we've listened to people. And so part of it is listening what the needs are out there. What's the need of the leaders? What are the needs of congregations? What are the needs of our health and social service partners? And figuring out how to adapt and change and innovate to meet those needs. One of the things that we recognized over this past year is how important technology is. And you wouldn't think technology is a key thing related to health and social services, but we've experienced as an organization ourselves that technology is key and that we need to change with the times to address those technology needs. And that in turn is going to help our health and social service partners, other people that we partner with. So I'm very excited about our leaning into the technology needs of today and then of the future. So that would be one thing I would comment on. How about Catherine or her? Yeah, Catherine, you came off mute.
Well, I was just going to say, as a health and social service leader myself, at the last board meeting, we talked about the ways that NBA is being innovative when it comes to that technological support, which doesn't necessarily always translate to the fun things that you might see on a poster, but is essential to really supporting the leaders and the organizations that MBA tries to support. And that is one of the beautiful ways that MBA is always innovative in listening and hearing and being creative and saying, what are the essential things that you need to be successful, and how can we help you do that?
Yes, thank you for that.
There is something that I feel very proud of with the MBA, is that we are aware of these new challenges, as I mentioned in my last intervention, and we've been very intentional in trying to discover, okay, and what works now? In what direction should we go? with new methods and strategies promoting, and once again, without changing our values and staying faithful to our mission. Is there ways now? Are there ways that we need to discover new ways to discover, to do ministry and to be relevant? Because I think that's an important a concept here when it comes to creativity and innovation. We want to stay relevant as we've done it for
Yes.
many, many years. So I'm very proud and grateful for what MBA is doing, taking this seriously, those changes and the concept of innovation.
Yes, relevant. Oh, well, hi, Britt.
Hey, Mark. I know that we've had such a great conversation, but as they say, when you're having fun, time flies. And we have arrived at that time where our next guests have arrived. And so we've really enjoyed this conversation, but we wanted to let you know that they're here and so excited to continue this conversation with you about, asking Mark anything.
Great. Hey, I do want to thank Catherine and Jorge for joining us on being part of this session today. I had great fun. I can't believe our time is up, as we were reminded by Britt. But I hope that you have blessings on the communities and your ministries in the coming days, and look forward and so grateful for your leadership serving on the board with MBA. So be well, my friends.
Thank you.
So a reminder too, before we move to our next guest, that it is Giving Week. I think I shared that already with you. That's why we're launched this live session. And so encouraged to check out the link in the chat there, so you can make a gift. We'd love for you to join us in this adventure here. So with that, we have two special guests who I adore. So for my next set of friends joining me, I'm so grateful that we get to highlight an amazing program that is part of our young adult leadership development area. It's the Black Women's Leadership Experience. It is a program shaped by Black women for Black women. In the words of Reverend Dr. Yolanda Norton, who serves as program consultant, BWLE came from Black women who want to offer something enriching for the lives of young Black women, and who live in hope that as mentors, they can make the road smoother for those coming up. Wow. The Black Women's Leadership Experience supports women ages 23 to 30 in their spiritual and vocational pursuits. BWLE offers mentorship, a residential program and retreats, opportunities to serve with a local nonprofit, and meaningful practices of identity formation, health and wellness, and leadership development. Miss Aaliyah Perkins, a native of St. Louis, woohoo, just completed her 2-year BWLE residency in Washington, D.C. Aaliyah worked with the Girls Inc., a Metro DC in particular with after-school programs with middle and high school girls. And then joining Aaliyah is the Reverend Dr. Krista Williams, a dear friend. She served as the mentor in the BWLE program, and with Aaliyah in particular. Dr. Williams has had a long commitment to leadership development and has been an early and consistent supporter of the BWLE program. She also, in her spare time, serves as the regional minister for the Christian Church Disciples of Christ in Indiana, a region with 140 congregations and 300 active, ordained, and commissioned ministers. Dr. Williams has been in regional ministry and leadership for over 25 years. So, Dr. Williams and Aaliyah, welcome.
Thank you so much, Mark. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Aaliyah, are you able to come off or put yourself on screen?
I'm here. I cannot put myself on screen.
Okay, then we're gonna plug along because we can hear your voice loud and clear.
Okay, I'm here. Hi,
see?
everybody.
You knew what to do. How are you? Good seeing you.
I'm doing well. Nice to see you as well.
The one thing I didn't share is that Aaliyah is starting a graduate program to get her master's in social work. That I'm very happy about. So, so Aaliyah, some questions I'm going to ask you and Dr. Williams. For you, what shifted for you over this 2-year experience? You were in DC, working at a local nonprofit, some spiritual guidance and mentoring with Dr. Williams. What did you learn about the kind of leader you are becoming?
So over these past 2 years, I have had a lot of different shifts. Personally, professionally, one of the biggest was relocating to DC. I never even been to DC until the retreat in 2023. And so navigating that was the biggest shift, I want to say, because navigating the public transportation, the different cultures, getting to know the girls at Girls Inc., that was the biggest shift. And so prior to relocating and working with BWLE, I was had prior years working with youth. And so now I was able to serve as a program facilitator with Girls Inc., working with specifically young girls, where I develop curriculum and initiatives. And so, because of all of the different shifts, my own personal matters, relocating to a new city, the program curriculum, learning how to be well as a young Black woman, I learned that coming in as a leader, um, basically, I was an introvert. I don't always enjoy being the person in front of the room, but I realized that my leadership is not about being the loudest, the voice, or being in the
Mm.
spotlight, but having ideas and compassion to help young people and willing to turn those ideas into action. And so, learning that I've led with purpose and care when it comes to the youth.
Oh, leading with purpose and care. I love that. I love that. So, Aaliyah, can you tell us briefly what's the hope behind your capstone project, the Unstoppable Girls Summit, and why are programs like the summit important for young people?
Okay. So the a little bit background about the Unstoppable Girls Summit. It was a 1-day event dedicated for middle and high school girls to come together to talk about sisterhood and community, to embrace their authentic selves and develop leadership skills. It's important because adolescence is such a challenging time. Working with girls and working with youth, I have seen it. They navigate peer pressure, social media, which is a huge thing, and then just other expectations about how they should look, talk, behave, act, who they should become. And so I wanted this summit to be an opportunity for the girls to just step away from those peer pressures and be reminded that they are the only ones who can define themselves. And so with this summit, bringing together Black women, people who look like them from different walks of life, just so the girls can be exposed to hear their journeys and gain practical advice as they navigate and grow into young adult women. And so my hope was that they feel seen, heard, valued, loved, and supported.
I love that. I love that. I know you walked away just ecstatic from that um, project at that ended your tenure there. So
Yes.
that's just thrilling. Hey, Dr. Williams, let me ask you a question. As a BWLE mentor and as a regional minister, what have you seen about the power of intergenerational accompaniment, especially when young leaders are discerning vocation, justice work, and their place in the wider church?
Wow, I've been thinking a lot about that because I felt like I was offered a gift to be a part of the Black Women's Leadership Experience. And the gift got bigger when I was assigned to work with Aaliyah. So I want to publicly go on record saying that. So thank you, NBA, for this opportunity. You know, it's not hard for me to talk about this, Mark, because I think as a Black woman growing up um, within a culture that celebrates, even outside of church, but celebrates 3 and 4 generations of folk working with children. Growing up in homes or being in communities where it's not uncommon to have your mother, your grandmother, in some cases, a great grandmother they are nurturing and honoring who you are. Very early on, children of color are called into their purpose, from times of not only singing in the choir or being an usher or Easter speeches and Christmas speeches, where you grow up being nurtured by a group of folks. And so by the time you are a teenager, you're well on your way in some leadership role. So it was very easy to come around Aaliyah and other young women that we met to help them grow into that in which they've already been called to do. So when I met Aaliyah, she was already on the social work path. All she needed was some more encouragement and affirmation. God and her family, they had already validated who she was and
Amen.
what she was going to be doing. And so I felt like my job was to continue to affirm and to pray and to honor what was already there. So this was easy for me. And I think as a regional minister, I've just been doing what I have always known to do. This is how you do it in the community and the culture in which I come from. When I step into a situation, I'm for once I'm in my office at home here in Indianapolis. And before coming on screen, I had some seminarians come through the door. And I was stepping out of one meeting and getting ready to come into this one, but it was the opportunity for me to stop and do what I've always been doing, helping to nurture and navigate and to
Yes.
protect the lives of those who have been given into our care. And so I think it was just very easy. And as regional minister, as female, as Black woman, I'm just doing what I've been called to do. Let me just say this too. Working with Aaliyah, it was transformative for me.
Yes.
Um, it was electrifying for me because I think mentorship and gathering or being the village is the epicenter of our success.
Mhm.
No one is an island unto themselves. And so
Yes.
you need people coming around you who will help you discern, who will be a sounding board. It's not only powerful, it is the height, the most height of power to have these transactional and transformative relationships. And I'm just happy that I've been, tagged to be a part. I feel like I don't want to say a fly on the wall, but I feel like I've been invited to be on the sidelines like a cheerleader of her life. And so this has been a great experience.
I love that. And the mentor, in these situations, oftentimes what's discovered is as the mentor, you are also becoming mentee by
Yes.
Aaliyah, by the mentee, right? That you are
Yes.
learning from Aaliyah as Aaliyah is listening and learning from you as well.
Recently we had our sort of debrief about the program and the process. And one of the very first things I said, I think I may have gotten more out of it than I ever put into it. And it reflects back. It's a direct reflection of intergenerational nurturing and learning and nourishing because there were times when she mentored me,
Mm.
and to me, that's what it's about.
Yes, yes, yes. Hey, I want to see if by chance, Dr. Williams or Aaliyah, if either one of you have a question for me. Um,
Um,
I do. I have a question for you.
okay, let's see if I got an answer for you.
So I wonder, I remember having dinner with you in DC when the
Yes,
program was first starting.
that's right.
You came and you joined us and you brought greetings on behalf of the NBA. And I wondered, even that evening, What was it like for you, A, as a man, to be in that setting with all these women? And B, what was it like for you as a white person
Yes.
to be in that space that was filled with the richness of Black women?
Yes, yes, yes. I think of that time fondly. I distinctly remember when I was asked to come in that I was going to be in a room with Black women. And I'm, as you mentioned, I'm neither Black or a woman. And so I was grateful for the opportunity to join you, that it was a welcome table. Um, and I reflected in my comments, I reflected on MBA and the ministry, how we got started by 6 women. And that the program, in terms of the year, started off with 6 women, 6 mentors, 6 mentees, and reflecting on that is a piece of our history. But you all are a part of our history going forward. And I was just amazed and in awe of the excitement of this new program. We didn't, as MBA, we didn't know what was to come. But the excitement and energy that you all had and that you had worked hard to develop and craft the retreat, to engage with one another. Um, so I just walked away just thinking, yeah, this is going to be good. This is going to be very good. So I was that was an amazing time, and was grateful for that breaking of bread with you all.
Thank you.
Yes, yes,
I have a
yes,
question. I have a
yes.
question.
Okay, Aaliyah.
Because BWLE does exist and this was the first year and it's been successful, are there any other programs in addition to BWLE dedicated for Black women that NBA is thinking about creating or would like to create?
That is a great question, Aaliyah. Why don't I have someone else get on? No, 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 I'm kidding. So next year, we're spending some time as part of our evaluation, but one of the pieces that we're going to be doing is hosting a couple retreats, the intergenerational, kind of what Dr. Williams had referenced, key work for Black women is connecting intergenerational with second, third generations. And so that's going to take place, and we're excited about that. And in those first 6 months, we're going to be recruiting for the next cohort of BWLE folks to join us. That we don't have anything specific on the horizon other than that, but any of our programs related to young adults, we have some grants out there. Our social entrepreneurship, we encourage people if they're interested in that. But there is not something specifically for Black women, such as BWLE. You're ready to jump in, Ali. I see you're ready to jump into something else. We're going to find something to connect you with here.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, hey, listen, I hate to do this. Gosh, Kyle, this live thing is horrible because I have to move us on. But I am deeply grateful to both of you, Aaliyah and Dr. Williams, for sharing a bit of your story and the BWLE story. We celebrate each of you and offer our care and blessings as you continue in your own leadership journeys. So thank you, my friends.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, we're moving on. But first, did I tell you that this is Giving Week and this is the launch of Giving Week? And you have an opportunity to make a gift to MBA to support these amazing programs that we're talking about. I am grateful for your generosity, so feel free to do that. But with pleasure and excitement, I want to welcome into the session our MBA Director of Social Entrepreneurship, Reverend Darnell Fennell. When one thinks about innovation, which is what we're talking about, one of the strongest examples of this in the life of MBA is through our social entrepreneurship program. Through this program, MBA fosters creativity, encourages new ideas, and accompanies people seeking to make justice and change in meaningful ways. Leading this program since 2019 is Darnell. He is pastor, organizer, activist, mentor, and leader for encouraging social enterprise and equipping entrepreneurs as they grow their projects and ministries into sustainable nonprofits. So welcome, Darnell.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Good, good, good. Welcome. We're glad you made the time. Hey, I wanted to check. Let's see, social entrepreneurship. You are often working with leaders who are building something new, right? Before all structures are clear, they're building something. So, what traits or characteristics are helpful when being innovative?
That's a great question, Mark. When you think about the world of entrepreneurship and innovation, there are so many traits and qualities one wants to see in a leader. But if I had to kind of condense this down into four pillars, I would give us four C's. And number one is courage. You have to be
Uh,
willing to try something new that may not work. Everything that we a company doesn't always unfold the way we want it to, but we have to honor that learning and wisdom. Then curiosity, stay curious, ask questions, listen to the community that you're seeking to serve. Don't make assumptions. Always make opportunities to learn and grow. And then coachability. You have to be able to take feedback from your
yes.
peers and also from our team and other subject matter experts who have expertise in a variety of areas in entrepreneurship. Being coachable means you're willing to learn and adjust. And lastly, is collaboration. Innovation rarely happens alone. You need to be around people who are different than you, have different experiences and perspectives, because collaboration means recognizing that community should never be a part of creating the solution, not simply receiving it.
Yes, yes, yes. I love those four C's. That is fantastic. Um, Darnell, so what kinds of skills do you suggest that social entrepreneurship strengthen as they enter into the program, working with you as well as our colleague Ashley?
Yeah, so definitely those four C's are foundational, but it's also one of the most valuable lessons in innovation and entrepreneurship is don't walk this journey alone. So we
Yes,
want to make sure we learn the lesson that no matter how great our idea is and how bold our vision is, if you're not bringing other people along to be a team, a board, to help govern and direct this bold vision, then we're doing this in a way that won't be sustainable and will lead to burnout. So one of the greatest gifts we can give as a lesson is the lesson of build your team, continue to expand, collaborate, and know that this is not done in isolation.
yes. And take care of yourself, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. So what kinds of innovation are you seeing from Disciples Entrepreneurs right now? What's out there?
Yeah, so many things from people addressing mental health needs, food insecurity, as well as people dealing with grief and preparation for end of life care. We're seeing people have the conversation that sometimes our society and even our church is typically shying away from, but these leaders are taking it head on and inviting us into important and necessary conversations to create a more just and loving world. So one thing we're seeing is disciples entrepreneurs are becoming more creative about how
Yes,
and where ministry happens. They are listening to their communities and developing responses. They are responding, like I said, to food insecurity, mental health, youth development, the arts, community building, economic opportunities. And what I feel most exciting is that leaders are starting by saying, "What program can I create?" They're asking, "What does my community need?" And what assets already
yes,
exist that we can build upon.
yes, yes, yes. What excites me, Darnell, is that as you mentioned, you were listing a bunch of areas that our entrepreneurs are engaged in, and the social entrepreneurship program for MBA is that it doesn't matter what your outreach or what your mission is. It's caring for the community and responding to the need in their local community. That our work is to walk alongside of them and provide those resources to strengthen that ministry.
Indeed.
So, what's exciting you about social entrepreneurship today?
One of my favorite vocabulary words in the realm of entrepreneurship is possibility. So what excites
Ah,
me most is possibility at social entrepreneurship gives us and our leaders permission to imagine new ways of responding to real challenges in their community. I'm excited that when I see leaders willing to experiment, learn, try on design thinking, a practice that helps them to be in conversation with those they seek to serve and continue to edit, modify in order to meet the needs of those they are called to serve. And at the same time, we have to pay attention to also the word sustainability. So it's also
mm,
exciting me as leaders who are imagining more innovative models to make sure that their work is here for the long haul, not depending solely on grants, but building a strong donor base, even having a hybrid model in some cases where leaders are selling either services or good that feed into the mission that they may continue to do their work and have greater impact.
that's great. That's great. Um, uh, Darnell, we're going to take a second here and see if Britt has any questions from the live chat. And then I'm going to see if you have a question for me as well, Darnell.
Yeah, Mark, we don't have any questions that have come in here during this section,
Okay.
but I think it would be great to hear from Darnell, who might have some questions for you. Turn the tables. He had these amazing answers talking about all the great social entrepreneurship work he's doing. Let's see if you can answer his quick draw questions as well.
Oh, great. Thanks, Britt.
Yeah, definitely appreciate your wisdom as one who leads and is deeply rooted nonprofit organization that has a long legacy and history.
Yeah.
And I'm curious what words of wisdom would you offer to emerging leaders who are starting to build out their social entrepreneur endeavors?
Yes, yes, yes. Darnell, I'm so grateful. You have offered me an opportunity to meet with the social entrepreneurs, the cohort that you have, to talk about various topics. One of them is kind of capacity building. Others is around governance and good work with board of directors. And I think one of the key things coming from a governance standpoint, having a strong board of trustees is not to overlook the importance of your board of directors. When
Mhm.
you're a startup ministry, oftentimes it's you doing the work, but then you realize this is larger and could become a nonprofit. And that's the direction that you're seeing your ministry, your organization going toward. Um, and so being intentional at the get-go is of crafting your board of directors. I know sometimes it's easy that you grab your cousin, maybe your mom,
Mhm.
but I would try to stay away from that. It's not bad at the beginning, but really kind of sit with yourself and think about who's in your community, who's interested in this issue, and then see if you can tap those people to serve on your board of directors. You don't need to have a board of 12 or larger or anything like that. A simple board get going of 5 people that are passionate about your mission and the work you're engaged in. So I think from a governance standpoint, start that sooner rather than later. Because sometimes it's hard, as you know, Darnell, for founders of organizations. I'm putting my hand on my chest like I was the founder of MBA. As founder of organizations, sometimes you don't want to hear from other people because you know what to do.
Yeah,
But if you start off at the beginning of having a good board of directors that are going to help with that guidance, I think that's key.
yeah. If I could ask one more question, that would be
Yes,
I
please.
recognize that we're just a couple of years apart in age, but as relates to
We're
perspective, right?
larger.
Yeah. When it comes to perspective across generations, as you look upon the future horizon, what is your hope for the work and world of social entrepreneurship?
Mhm. That's a good question. I I think going back to our topic of innovation, that's kind of our theme, is that I think we as an organization have to remain nimble and
Mm,
responsive to the needs out there in the community. And for us, that means needs of leaders, social entrepreneurs in this case, um, responsive to our partner agencies and what they're going through. So I think for me, I think it's always asking that question. How can we innovate? How can we shift? How can we change to be the most supportive to the people that we walk alongside of? That what we did um, 20 years ago, 100 years ago, is not the same what we're going to do today. And it definitely is not going to be the same what we do in 5 years, 10 years down the road. So I think from an innovation standpoint, we just need to be nimble and always ask those questions. What are the changes we can come up with?
yeah, that's rich. I appreciate that perspective, and I
Yeah,
recognize that we are in a landscape that, just like when we think about the world of music and how many of us grew up around, I grew up around CDs, but CDs were just coming on the scene, but cassettes were kind of leaving the scene. And no matter what is being played on the cassette, the CD, the streaming file, the record, the music is still the music, but the method in which the music is being played continues to evolve. So the song is still
yes,
playing, but the ways in which we play the song will continue to evolve, and we remain open to that.
very true. And Darnell, that's kind of you to say that we're close in age, but you didn't mention an eight-track tape.
Right.
So, Darnell, tremendous thanks for your
Thank
time.
you.
I'm so grateful for your reflections, your wisdom, and for your leadership of the Social Entrepreneurship Program and throughout MBA. So grateful for this collaborative work with you. So take care and enjoy yourself this evening.
Thanks, Mark. Take care.
Thanks, Darnell. Well, look, Britt's back with us. And wait a second. Hold on, Britt. Did I tell you all that it's Giving Week and this is the launch of Giving Week? You can make a gift. There is a link in the chat that you can pull up and just make a little gift. You can also do the old fashioned way and you can mail us a check if you'd like. I still do that sometimes. Okay, Brett, what questions do you have? We have a little bit more time here.
We do. And it's been so amazing hearing from each of these different areas, from our board members,
For
from our
sure.
young adult leadership development program, and from our social entrepreneurship program. So, it's so hard to talk about it in just a few minutes about all the exciting things that we have going on in each of them. But we did have a couple of additional questions that we wanted to ask you as we, start to wrap up our time together today. And I think the first question here that we have for you is, what excites you most about NBA's current direction?
Oh, um, what excites me the most? I For me, I am thrilled about the people we get to work with. And so I'm not just saying this because you're on, Brett, but it excites me that we have an incredible staff, colleagues that we work with that do amazing stuff on a daily basis. So I'm always in awe when I hear about things that are happening that our staff are engaged in. So walking alongside folks there. I also, our board of trustees, they're an amazing group of individuals and their wisdom, excitement. You heard both Catherine and Jorge. So that is not unusual. That I think excites me. And then clearly all the ministry and the partners that we get to walk alongside, that truly excites me. We have mission and ministry grants that's going to be coming up here shortly that people can apply for grants. We have other grant opportunities as well. Social entrepreneurship. I'm always amazed when we start a new cohort, which we're going to be starting this fall, of social entrepreneurs and hearing what they're doing, which were so different from last year, so different from the 2 years ago. So that excites me. I could go there. The mental health and wellness program excites me. Responding, mental health is an illness or a huge issue in our country, in our denomination. And so our opportunity to train up providers, to educate clergy, congregations, that really excites me.
No, that's great. It's definitely a lot of exciting things that are going on right now at NBA, and it's really easy for us to be excited about it. And, when I think about these different program areas where we're doing this work, we have been talking today, giving just a couple of examples of how innovative those programs are. And when people are hearing that innovation in action, this theme of this giving week. What do you hope that they understand about NBA that they may not have understood before today?
I think for folks to know that we're living into care and compassion that NBA has always been engaged in that work. It looks different though today. So people that knew us from years ago, it's different. And that's okay because incredible work is taking place as well. I think, for the younger generation, to tap into who MBA is, how we are connected out there in the world, and how they might be able to connect with us as well. And younger generation, I'm talking about younger than me. So Britt, you, and then younger. So that's what I really hope for, that people really can check out our website at mbacares.org. Check out our social medias on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and kind of see where they might plug in or where they might be interested in. So very excited about that.
Well, and it's great that you mentioned the Young Adult Leadership Development Program, because obviously we talked about the Black Women's Leadership Experience and the impact that it had today. But we also do a number of different things with young adults, whether it's grant funding, peer group support, educational resources. For some of our supporters out there who are kind of thinking about investing in young adult leadership development, they may not know where to begin. What would you tell them?
Oh, golly. Well, go to our website at Young Adults Leadership Development section, and talk to Maria Hill Soto, who is our director of that program. But I think I think for folks in general is, if you're an older person, find an opportunity to mentor a young adult person, to walk alongside of them, share your wisdom, but also to listen to them. As I mentioned, this mentor-mentee relationship really goes back and forth. And so let's listen to our young folks and hear what wisdom they have. As the older person in the room, we don't have all the answers. And so I think it's important to listen. I think that may be what I got for you, Brent.
Well, and you could clearly see from Dr. Williams when she was talking earlier about the impact that mentors can have on mentees. So
Yes.
it can go both ways, with that relationship. So another question, if I may, Mark, is, in your role as leader of nonprofits, what do you think nonprofits should be paying attention to? I guess, like what I'm thinking of, if leaders and nonprofits had an extra hour in the day, what should folks try to do in that time period?
An extra hour in the day. What does that look like? Um, I think, for me, I think it's important to offer up gratitude. And that's gratitude in a variety of ways. That could be writing a note to someone, grateful for their ministry, grateful for their financial support, phone calls of gratitude, communicating to your staff that you're grateful for their energy and their work. I think that an extra hour of gratitude goes a long way when it comes to nonprofit and nonprofit leadership. You can't do too much of gratitude, so I would encourage people to identify those opportunities.
I love that. Yeah, and it means so much when you're the recipient of it.
Yes, yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
Well, here's a question. As we approach 140 years, and there has been a lot that MBA has been doing, but the atmosphere has changed, society has changed, things are different than they used to be. Are there opportunities that you're seeing now that maybe weren't available a few years ago?
Yeah, for sure. I think as I mentioned earlier in the live, is technology. That technology is moving so fast, good and bad. I mean, there's things that we have to pay attention to, and we don't get swept up in things that are harmful. However, the technology can be so beneficial on a variety of levels. And so, even for me, looking back 2, 3 years ago, we're in a completely different state in terms of how we're going to use technology for our partners and our ministries that we connect with. So I think that is something key. And this technology clearly wasn't around 140 years ago when we started.
No, no, it certainly was not. The telegram just doesn't work quite the same
It
as some of the
doesn't.
technology we have today, is it? Another question I have, thinking through faithful stewardship. An MBA certainly wants to be faithful stewards, but how do we stay responsive to this changing community, these changing times, changing technology, while still responsibly stewarding our resources?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think it is about communication in terms of how we're using resources, how we're sharing that out, how we're supporting our partners in ministry. So um, I think the stewardship of resources is not like turning everything over and say, let's go for it. So there's some responsibility of acknowledging that there's going to be this ministry that's going to last. It's been here for 140 years. It's going to be here way past either your tenure or my tenure with the organization, right? And hopefully another 140 years. And the importance of using those resources, those assets to support ministries to come. And at the same time, recognizing that we're in a unique moment in time where the need is so great. And so, how do we look at increasing resources out there from an equity lens to connect with ministries and partners out there? So, I think that's a key thing that we're constantly asking ourselves from a stewardship standpoint, not only with staff, but also with our board of trustees.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. One last question here as we're wrapping up our time together, and that is, how can people continue engaging after Giving Week ends?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that, Brett. So for sure, this is Giving Week, by the way. So there's a link there in the chat. But we're on every channel. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram, YouTube. Is that right, Britt? So I would encourage you. I'm kind of a junkie on several, but there's more that I kind of pay attention to a little bit more. So find the one or two that you actually connect with, and connect with us. You can follow us on all those sites, so you don't miss something that's happening that's going to perk your interest of what MBA is doing. So I would encourage you to check out that from social. You also can go to our website and sign up for our e-newsletter that goes out. Britt does that. And it is mbacares.org MBA.com/newsletter. Is that? Oh, good. I just made that up. So I encourage you to do that. Hey, Brett, I think we're kind of at the end of our time here, but I want to be sure to thank our guests for sharing their experiences and presentation. A word of thanks to the members of the MBA Development and Marketing team who helped to ensure this virtual session could happen, including the man behind the curtain who came out from behind the curtain, Britt, and our MBA Senior Marketing Associate, who is our MBA Senior Marketing Associate. So grateful for all the people behind the scenes that got me to go live. And then thank you for everyone that joined today. I'm grateful for submitted questions and grateful for our guest. So Giving Week is about celebrating the ways innovation, generosity, and community come together to advance MBA's mission. Visit our Giving Week donation page to make a gift, mbacares.org/innovation. Even if you can't do it now, please do make a gift sometime this week. Thank you in advance for this partnership and generosity that you share with MBA. Thank you for being a part of this